How you doing? How you doing? Frankie Russo show, pre-show number 139. I'm over here at 77 WABC. Sorry I'm running late. Yeah, man, it's crazy. But anyway, we gotta help America's team help the men and women United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. We gotta do this, okay? We gotta do this. It's been reported over 22 men and women in the United States Armed Forces are committing suicide every day. Got to go to F Russo, F-R-U-S-S-O, F Russo 14 at AOL.com. Send me an email. Fundraising is slow right now, but we ain't stopping. Okay, we got to help. We got to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what I'm talking about. So now we're gonna move. Okay, we'll maybe go to 12:15, 12:30, the latest. Okay, good. I'm just gonna set up the model real quick. So we got a fraudulent selective service registration card, Obama. Then we got the Clinton Foundation, right? And we got, obviously, Russia's involved. And then we got the Iranian Global Terror Network, right? Then we got the Iranian Terror Surrogates. That's the IRGC, Iranian Military Guard Corps, Quds Force, General Soleimani, Syria, Assad, CARE, NAIT, ISNA, Alevi Foundation, ASA Corporation, Bank Melli. Then we have the ISIS, Iran Nexus. I'm working on that. I didn't finish the blog yet. I watched this documentary, Confronting ISIS by Frontline. It's crazy. Crazy stuff, man. What's really crazy is the Obama Clinton policy in Syria. What a mess. Imagine sending, well, they said they claimed to send $500,000 to Syria, $500,000 to Syria, weapons, training. They put the Syrian rebels together, and they have to sign a contract that they're only gonna shoot at ISIS. They're not gonna shoot at Assad. And then Hagel in a congressional oversight committee, the DOD, the Secretary of Defense, is asked if Assad shoots at the Syrian rebels, are they shooting back? It's just crazy. I did my life. I really like it. So, just a little recap. We got ISIS Iran nexus, Al Qaeda Iran nexus, Hamas Iran nexus, Afghan Taliban Iran nexus, and Hezbollah Iran nexus. And then we got the Blind Sheik. And then we got 5 Quds Force leaders released in Erbil, Iraq. And then we got the Berg Gold trade. That was a beauty. The Berg Gold trade. Qatar. Al-Namani. ISIS, Al-Shur, Yassin al-Shuri. Then we got PA, Hamas, Iran. Then we got Egypt, Muslim Brotherhood, Morsi, Iran. And then we got Syria, we talked about. Syria, Assad. You know, Iran gives Syria, according to Washington Free Beacon, Adam Credo, Congressional Research Service, Iran gives Syria 3 to 15 billion annually. Unbelievable. Benghazi. Cover up. Let's see. That's Cook Force General S. Okay. So we just got the usual. This is just the pre-model with the, and I just bring it all in. I go through the timeline. The pre-model's there with the timeline, and this is just 77 WABC. So what? This is like an oral. This is like basically an oral term paper. Fraudulent sector service cards, statistically significant Obama, memorandum of understanding attached to the Clinton Foundation, Iranian Global Terror Network, through a Levy Foundation, 650 Fifth Avenue case, $105,000 to the Clinton Foundation, 1.4 million to the Blind Cheeks Mosque, and then this thing rolls. 5 Quds Force leaders released in Erbil, Iraq in 2009. Bergdahl trade, money 5 billion and human assets going out to Qatar for a trader, and then $5 billion too. I don't know if that much money went out there, but a lot of money went there. Palestinian Authority, Hamas, Iran's on the other end. Adam Credo, Washington Free Beacon, Congressional Research Service. 88 senators asked Obama, why are we doing this? How do we know the terrorists, Hamas is not using this money for terrorism? Obviously they are. Egypt, big situation. Espionage Act. Morsi, Muslim Brotherhood, got taken over by Sisi, and Morsi was in cahoots with Iran. Egypt, 1.5 billion from the Obama Clinton administration, 20 jet fighters. I'm not sure they got all of it, but they got some of it. Syria, we know half a billion over there. The rebels didn't materialize. They had to sign a contract. The Obama Clinton administration, they had to sign a contract in Syria because they were trying to arm these rebels to fight ISIS. This was in the Frontline documentary, Confronting ISIS. I watched it. It's a 2-hour documentary. Very, very interesting documentary. Very well put together. And here in Syria, Obama Clinton administration, Hagel didn't know what the hell's going on. They asked him. First, they said they had to sign a contract, the Syrian rebels, that they're not going to fire at the Assad regime. They're only going to fire at ISIS. This is crazy. Because they asked him, my phone was going off. They asked him, they said, how do we know? The Syria's going off. How do we know? Like, I think it was John McCain asked Chuck Hagel, at the time he was Secretary of Defense, if Assad fires at the Syrian rebels, what are they going to do? Unbelievable. And he had to resign. And then we got the Benghazi cover-up, Quds Force and General Soleimani. So this is the basic model, and it goes all the way up to the Iranian nuke deal. All the money going back. It's pretty. I believe it's statistically significant. The premise is the Obama Clinton administration is a criminal enterprise in the court of American public opinion. If, in all likelihood, in all probability, that's the case, and if in all likelihood and probability, with much statistical significance, if the Clinton if the Clinton administration is a criminal enterprise in the courtroom of American public opinion, then the Obama-Clinton crime family is materially supporting radical Islamists, and it's pretty, it's crazy. Um, I can go through this. We can go through it. We're gonna go through it. Okay. So now let's go. Let's look at some articles. We got some good time here. Okay. Hmm. Hillary fixer breaks ranks. Iran sex tries for Hillary. The betting pattern that called Brexit has a terrifying prediction about the U.S. election. Trump's going to win. It's not terrifying to me. Here's an interesting one. I know Trump's going to win. Clinton campaign contractor, according to the Daily Mail. I got to find another news outlet. Clinton campaign contractor caught in voter fraud video sting is a felon who visited the White House 342 times, including a meeting in the Oval Office, but Obama's spokesman won't defend him. Robert Kremer was shoved aside after a video sting showed him discussing large-scale voter fraud with an undercover interviewer. Let me take some of Breitbart. Robert Kremer. Let's see what we come up with. Probably come up with something. Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay, good. This is what we're going to go with. I'm not going with the Daily Mail. Robert Kremer visited Obama's White House 340 times. The political consulting firm Democracy Partners is at the center of the Project Veritas investigation, exposing Democratic operatives instigating violence at Trump rallies and plotting potential voter fraud. Now, before I go into Robert Kremer, I just want you to understand La Raza, that lefty radical group that talks about was on the La Raza, because I'm it's early in the morning. I'm sorry. The reason I'm bringing in La Raza and the Mexican drug cartel, because they were inciting violence at the rallies on the West Coast, and there were actually Mexican individuals waving the Mexican flag, punching Trump supporters, claiming that this is Mexico and they're in America. They were in California. So that was going on. Then there was the Mexican drug cartels. My understanding, I couldn't find the data. I remember reading it. I just couldn't find. I've been looking for it the last few days. I went through all my old stuff, and because the Mexican drug cartel was also there at these in I think it was June, July, around that time, not May, but June, July, when Trump was on the West Coast, in San Jose, and San Diego, and all those protests against Trump. The So it was La Raza was there with the promoting the open borders and that whole thing with this is Mexico. The 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 other group that was there was Black Lives Matter, and the other group was the Mexican drug cartel was there. They were all inciting these protests. And now this comes out. Robert Kremer is a founder of Democracy Partners, a frequent visitor to the Obama White House. Logs show Kremer visited 340 times in the White House, with 45 of those meetings including Barack Obama. It's crazy. Breitbart News. Kremer issued a statement after the first two videos that he was stepping down from his responsibilities working with the campaign. Interim DNC chair Donna Brazil, I'll get you the questions, Brazil. I'll get you the exact questions to the debate, Hillary. Don't worry about it. Tried to put distance between the DNC and Democracy Partners in a statement by saying the practices described in the video by this temporary regional subcontractor do not in any way comport with our longstanding policy on organizing events. So it basically, they're busted, cold busted, right? Interesting. So that's one we're going to look at. Flashback, Gore refuses to concede election demands, recount to ensure all voters are counted. Another Fugazi fraud. Hillary Clinton laments no more no more naps after final debate. Russia taunts U.S. with biggest military offensive since Cold War. Madonna pledges oral sex for Clinton voters. And, interesting. Claims that she was American Muslim Pact press conference endorses Hillary Clinton. Ecuador cut off Assange's internet at U.S. request. Make Soros happy. Clinton campaign discusses importance of pleasing billionaire in leaked email. Obama goes into stuttering spree during Rose Garden attack on Trump. Activist who took credit for violent Chicago protests was on Hillary's payroll. And we talked about the James O'Keefe, the Project Veritas mass voter fraud with Robert Kremer. Interesting. Google censors Donald Trump's search volume. Why am I not shocked? Here's interesting. This statespoll.com. This came out, just to give you an idea. Let's see Florida, right? October 20th. Today's the 21st. I just want to give you an idea, right? This is statespoll.com. Now, in this poll in Florida, a snapshot today, Hillary's at 47, Trump's at 46. Now, according to statespoll.com, the 2012 exit poll plus turnout factors, right? First of all, Obama is not on the ballot. So these polls use a 2012 model, a 2012 exit poll as the model is looking at the sample is ridiculous. The sample should not reflect the 2012 exit poll. It should be more reflective of the demographics of 2016. Florida demographics didn't change that much during 5 years. Hispanic population is from 22.5% in 2015, 24.5%. Considering low registration turnout of Hispanics, turnouts boost of white high school, some college voters in 16, it is even possible vote shares of Hispanics could be lower than 2012. Florida primary 2016, 2.35 million, Democrats 1.7 million. So that's interesting. Interesting. So claiming that Trump isn't down, Trump's ahead, I just think Trump's just a force, man. He's just a force of nature. He's going to be a force of nature in the not too distant future. They're not going to be able to stop him. Let's look at Michigan. Interesting. This is one state that I think is going to be a surprise to people, how well Trump's going to do in Michigan. They got Hillary Clinton up 5. He's got Hillary up 4. I think it's closer than that. You can't go by the 2012 model, the exit polls. It's just, and reps 1.3 voted in the Republican side, 1.19 million in Democrats. Despite more Democrats in Michigan and more white support and more white supporter in GOP than Dem, Wow. So he's claiming that Obama's on. Yeah, Obama's not on the ticket, man. It's just wow. So the because Bernie beat Hillary in Michigan. I don't know, man. I mean, this one isn't as blatant as the other ones, but he's got Hillary up four. I think Trump is it's a lot closer in Michigan. Let's look at Colorado. That's a state that Trump may have a shot to pull off. Hmm. See the 2012 exits. You got to understand, Obama is not on the ballot. So that model is Hillary's not going to get Obama numbers. No, Hillary's not getting Obama numbers. So I don't know. Okay, Arizona, Trump is up almost 10, according to statespoll.com. Adjusted poll, because a lot of what what I see happening with these polls is not only are they heavily weighted, the random samples heavily weighted on the Democrats, they also fool around with the demographics. So if they have 100, say hypothetically the sample size is 100 people, and I saw a poll in October, a poll in October where they had Clinton up by 9 in Ohio. I spoke about this a few weeks ago, or maybe last week, and I was like, I was looking at statespoll.com, and they broke it down. They went into the data, and they found out that they flipped the demographic. If you got 100 people in Ohio, approximately 60 of 100 people make up high school grad and some college. 40% make up 4-year college degree completed and/or a postgraduate degree. Most of the 40%, that's Hillary's strength, and the others are Trump's strength. So they flipped it. The model ended up being 60%. So you're saying the turnout is going to be Hillary Clinton? She don't have the enthusiasm. I'm sorry. It is. I think it's one big ruse, man. But that's me. You know. I think it's one big ruse. Here's an interesting article I got to pull up. Here's the article. NSA contractor charged with stealing top secret data. A federal contractor suspected in the leak of powerful National Security Agency hacking tools have been arrested and charged with stealing classified information from the U.S. government. Does this sound familiar? State Department server in the basement of her house. Not wanting to go state.gov, like an email, HROD, Hillary Rod at stategov.com. She went HROD at clintonemail.com or .org or whatever the hell it is. Right? But yet, people call it a private server. She's not in private business. And how do you? And then they end up comparing what Hillary Clinton did to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a businessman. A federal contractor suspected in the leak of a powerful national security agency hacking tools have been arrested and charged with stealing classified information from the U.S. government. Harold Thomas Martin III did technology work for Booz Allen Hamilton, was charged with theft of government property. Theft of government property. So Hillary Clinton, had a State Department server in the basement of her house, not under the, she had the same IP address with the Clinton Foundation, commingled documents with the Clinton Foundation. So her address wasn't HROD, Hillary Rod, at state.gov. It was Hillary Rod at clintonemail.gov. So she turned basically the State Department into a family business, if you want to be honest and real. Okay? It's a family business, the Obama Clinton crime family. And he didn't know anything about the server in the basement, the State Department server in the basement of her house. So, unauthorized removal and retention of classified materials sounds familiar. According to two U.S. officials familiar with the case, he is suspected of hoarding classified materials going back as far as a decade in his house or car. Sounds like Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills having these classified documents all over the place. Nobody got in trouble. This guy is getting in deep trouble. And I'm going to bring somebody else in too while we're at it. Washington Post. Washington Post, John Dutch, I'm understanding it's John Dutch, CIA clearance suspended. CIA Director George Tenet announced that he has suspended the security clearance of his predecessor, John M. Deutsch, or Dutch, for violating government rules by working with classified material on an unsecured computer at his house. The unprecedented action against a widely respected, still powerful former official, who's a doctor from MIT, comes at a time of heightened concern over foreign espionage and the handling of classified information. It was clearly intended as a signal that the federal government, and the CIA in particular, is determined to tighten security. Tenet said in a one-page statement that he decided to suspend John Dutch's clearance for an indefinite period of time upon consideration of the nature of the security violations involved, that Dr. Deutsch, his responsibility as leader of the intelligence community to set the highest standard in the protection of classified information. Later on, in January of 2001, Clinton, before he left, pardoned John Dutch. They pretty much did the same thing. 31 documents on an unsecured computer in his house. Right? This is a CIA director. We got an NSA contractor charged with stealing top secret data. Now, why can't we believe, based on this Clinton Foundation sharing the same IP address with the private server of Hillary Clinton's basement, commingling documents, that she's not sharing secrets? Because, on all intents and purposes, it had come out on not only on well-researched open source articles, but some people of official positions, like James Comey, though he's killed himself, that Hillary Clinton had information on the spy masters, where our various CIA operatives were on this server, and probably other information that's been deleted and or given away. It's amazing to me. I find it very insulting, quite frankly, and I find it very concerning that the American people ever even consider voting for Hillary Clinton, quite frankly, because she's violated the basic requirements to being president of the United States. There's the there's the David Petraeus, John Dutch standard of handling of classified information, and Hillary Clinton has totally, between the commingling of the documents with the Clinton Foundation. This is people's business. This is not the Clinton family business. The State Department, they turned it into that, and thank you, Barack Obama. Right? That's what we're looking at over here. This is serious stuff, but nobody really wants to look at it. You know, very serious. Homeland Security releases 52,000 illegal minors. You know, I tell you, WikiLeaks with this Donna Brazil, WikiLeaks with this, well, Project Veritas did the Robert Kremer and the 342 visits and 40. I mean, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I got another interesting article here that I'd like to, yeah. This article here, I'm considering the bomb squad, not to get off on a tangent over here, but this is another aspect that we have to watch out for. It's by Paul Sperry. He's the author of Infiltration in Muslim Mafia. This guy's a tremendous investigative reporter on radical Islamic terror. A few weeks ago, New York City's bombing is yet another case of terrorism and hatred for America not being isolated to a lone wolf but running in the family. We've seen this horror before in Orlando, San Bernardino, Chattanooga, and Boston. Muslim families playing dumb after their son goes on a terrorist rampage, only to find out later that the family sympathized with terrorism. Paul Sperry. This guy's great. He wrote an article in the Post. Lone Wolf. I've read it. It's amazing. The latest evidence is damning. 2 days before Ahmad Rahmani, the allegedly planted the Chelsea bomb that injured 31 people, a family member's cell phone video was used to film him testing bombs in the backyard of the New Jersey resident's chicken shack where he had lived and worked with his parents. After one cylindrical device explodes, unidentified people are overheard laughing on the recording, an FBI document reveals. The video isn't the only piece of evidence suggesting the fiend's family may have known about this plot. A cell phone used as a timer to detonate the Chelsea bomb was subscribed in the name of a family member until 2013. FBI Special Agent Peter Licata wrote in the government's 13-page complaint filed against Rahmani. What's more, Rahmani allegedly used a family SUV to travel to Manhattan to plant the pressure cooker bomb. Late the next night, the FBI pulled over the same SUV occupied by 5 people, including Rahmani relatives, who reportedly was headed to the airport. They were questioned by Joint Terrorism Task Force agents, but authorities said they were not in custody and none had been arrested. The FBI complaint indicates that Rahmani started plotting his terrorist attacks as early as June. The same month, his wife left for Pakistan. All these terrorists are always going to Pakistan, yet I blogged and on my website, why isn't Pakistan a designated world state sponsor of terror? I mean, they're involved in every form of terror throughout, not only in America, but throughout the world, in some way or another. Rahmani, okay, his wife returned to New York where she submitted to FBI interviews. Rahmani's mother left the U.S. for Turkey 3 weeks before the bombing. Rahmani's older brother and sister appeared to share the same affection for terror leaders and some hatred for America as well. Same hatred for America as him, Rahmani. Reports have linked the sister to messages posted on social media quoting Anwar al-Awlaki, the American al-Qaeda cleric who privately ministered to some of the 9/11 hijackers. He was a global jihad propagandizer. He got whacked by a drone, I think, in 2011. Romani wrote he sought the guidance from al-Awlaki in a blood-stained journal FBI agents seized from him after a shootout. The brother Mohammed, who is now in custody in Pakistan, posted ISIS-related propaganda, including images of jihadists, with the message, "I bring the men who desire death as ardently as you desire life." Wow. In the 80s, Romani's father fought with the Afghan Mujahideen against the Soviet Union, according to statements made by a family friend. Okay. He also opposed the U.S. war in Afghanistan. The media have portrayed him as a hero for ratting out his son as a terrorist. After the bombing, he shouted to them 2 years ago, "I called the FBI." In fact, the elder Mohammed Romani, or Mohammed Rahman, may have only mentioned that his son was a terrorist on a call with the local police in 2014 to report a domestic fight between Romani and a younger son involving a knife. Local police in turn contacted the FBI through the local Joint Terrorism Task Force. Out of concern, Romani had been radicalized. The FBI interviewed the father, who recanted his story about Romani, who was never indicted for the alleged stabbing. The father let Romani continue staying at his house, even let him run the family fried chicken shop. This is reminiscent of other homegrown terrorist cases where extremism also runs in the family, including Orlando shooter Omar Mateen, whose father was an anti-gay Taliban booster, whose wife's Palestinian family proclaimed support for Hamas terrorists. His wife even drove him, Omar Mateen's wife, drove him to the sites he scouted as targets, including the gay nightclub he attacked in June, and to the store where he bought the ammo for the massacre. San Bernardino terrorist Saeed Farouk, whose parents were placed on terror watch list after the 2015 massacre. Chattanooga, Tennessee terrorist Mohammed Youssef Abdul Aziz, influenced by his devout Muslim father who appeared at one point on a federal terrorist watch list. The FBI now says those close to Abdul Aziz knew he had been radicalized a year before his deadly 2015 attack on two Tennessee military sites, but failed to alert authorities. The Boston bomber is influenced by their America-hating Muslim mother, who forced him to go to an extremist mosque and study hardcore Islamic texts. And study they did. Unfortunately, it's crazy stuff. After 2013's marathon attack, the Muslim convert wife of the older Boston bomber's son expressed more sympathy for people killed every day in Syria than those killed in Maine by her husband. Maybe Trump's right, Paul Sperry says. Maybe we do need to start looking more closely at the families of terrorists and hold them accountable as well. Paul Sperry, interesting guy. So that's an article I've been looking at because I think it brings everything full circle. It shows that this is not a lone wolf. It shows that it conceivably is not this is not lone wolves, these terrorists over here. So I'm going to look at some more data, and we're going to have a great show tonight. Frankie Russo, yeah. We're out of here, and I'll see you all in about a little less than an hour. A little less than an hour. Or almost an hour. Remember, Help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. And I'll see you live in about a little less than an hour. Okay? Frankie Russo, yeah. See you in a few.